Greetings viewers from Maha MTB. I am Chandrasekhar Nene. I study international relations. Along with me is Yogesh Kumar, who is the videographer. I am coming before you after a gap of 6-7 days. I was away from Mumbai, hence I couldn't do the videos. And on the 8th of December last week, we had the very horrible tragedy of a helicopter crash in which one of our country's most brilliant soldier, General Bipin Rawat, his wife Madhulika, along with them 11 other army officers were in that accident. Unfortunately, only one survivor in that accident, and he is also in a critical condition in a hospital. I pay homage to the greatest soldier and along with him all the his family, Madhulika ma'am and other army officers. I pay homage to them. May they receive moksha in the service of this holy land. General Bipin Rawat was a very different type of soldier. He was thinking in a very revolutionary way. One of his famous saying was that we will not fire the first bullet, but afterwards we will not even count the bullets. A very aggressive nature, a very different posture, and he was also in charge of the new integrated theatre command. What it meant was Army, Navy, Air Force, all the parts of our defense forces acting in unison, acting in an integrated manner to break the back of our enemy. This is a new thinking, and all these new thinkings were being put into practice by General Rawat. Now, he was also the Chief of Defence Staff. He was the first Chief of Defence Staff appointed after the decision to appoint a Chief Defence Staff was taken. He will be succeeded by a new person very soon. General Narawane's name is being talked about. We will see what happens next. But it was a big loss to Indian Defence Forces. One of the kind of conspiracy theories which is floating about, because details about this accident are not very apparent. Looks like the helicopter was only 5 minutes from landing and suddenly it lost all contact with the base and there was a big explosion and we saw this horrific accident. But such things always give rise to conspiracy theories. One of the theory is because he was so much against China, Chinese people had a hand in this kind of accident. A similar accident had taken in Taiwan a year back in 2020. A general of Taiwanese army along with his other defense staff was in an helicopter which exploded. People draw similarities between these two things. Although Taiwan and India are very different, I particularly refrain from drawing any conclusions at this time because there is a court of inquiry immediately instituted by the Defense Ministry. And we should not float any kind of wild conspiracy theories, and it is very essential we should await the report of this inquiry because it is a complicated matter. This type of accidents or this type of sabotage is not very apparent. The proofs have to be collected, and the proofs, it is very difficult because there is no survivor, only one person is there. He is still not giving his statement. He would give his statement though. Thankfully the black box and the cockpit voice recorder has been recovered. So I am sure the government is busy analyzing that. But at the same time, the attitude which General Rawat took against China, against the aggression of China, may it be Doklam, Galwan and all these places in Ladakh, actually is a very different attitude than the attitude taken by Indian Defence Forces or Indian politicians in the earlier era. We were in a compromising mode all the time till this new era has started, and General Rawat's theory that we should be in an aggressive mode and we should defend our territory very heavily with fortifications, with defense equipment, with brave soldiers was a very different thought process. And this included, his also statement is very important. He said Pakistan is not our main enemy. In fact, Pakistan is not even worth counting as an enemy at this, as we talk now, but China is our enemy number one. Now, I wanted to bring your attention away from the sad occurrence to what China is. China is a very big military power. We are not small either. In Ladakh region, we are matched arms to arms, soldier to soldier with China, absolutely no problem there. China has 14 more borders to defend. India doesn't have those many borders, so we can concentrate our forces in Ladakh. We should not be unduly worried about China. But at the same time, we should actually pressurize China from all the sides. Fortunately, United States of America, the erstwhile #1 superpower, has also realized the danger China poses to it. So, USA is also very heavily moving against China in all directions. One of the directions is in the line of trade. In case of suppression of the Uyghur population, China has gone to the limits of inhuman behavior. A media house called Epoch Times, which runs out of United States, out of Hong Kong and many other national capitals, they have come out on record. Their Professor Robert Destro has actually gone on record saying that what China is doing, they are harvesting vital organs out of Uyghur people. Means they will take a live person, take out his kidneys, take out his heart, take out his liver and sell it because this is sellable commodity. The medicinal practices have become so powerful these days that they can actually transplant liver, they can transplant heart, they can transplant kidneys. It's becoming a standard practice. So, they are using this Uyghur population as a raw material in the most wicked way. So, I wanted to bring this also forward as to what China is. China is rich because it has got a very lucrative trade with the whole world, mostly with America. And America is now, right from Trump era, is now cutting that trade one by one, Now, one of the latest legislation passed by American Senate is about this trade, that they don't want any item imported from China if it has been manufactured using forced labor in the Xinjiang province of China. Now, what is the Xinjiang province? Xinjiang is the northwest province of China. It is the largest province. The name Xinjiang actually means new territories. The name itself says this was not a part of China before. It is a part which China has grabbed. In 1949, when Mao Zedong came to power, he made sure that he will have a stranglehold of Chinese military power on the Xinjiang province. Xinjiang province used to be called East Turkestan earlier. The people living there are called Uyghurs. The word is very peculiar. It is spelled Uighur. Many announcers, many TV personalities pronounce this as Uyghurs, which is the pronunciation as per the spelling, but the actual spelling, actual pronunciation is Uyghur, because this word comes from a Chinese word called Uyghur. So, Uyghur is corrupted to Uyghur now, and Uyghur is how those people are called. The meaning of Uyghur in Chinese, the meanings are not precise, but the meaning has something of a unity concept in the meaning. It is unbreakable unity, it is people living together, and this kind of meanings are attached to this word. It is a group of people who follow the Islamic faith. They are Islamic faith bearers since the 7th century onwards. They were converted to Islamism by an Arabic saint who came from Middle East, and they adopted the faith. However, China is very sure, China is a communist country, they do not want any kind of faith running in this country. Buddhist, Islamic, any faith is not on with China. So, China has been continuously suppressing this region, suppressing the population. The capital is Kashgar, so suppressing the Kashgari population and making sure that they all conform to the communist ideology. But that is not all. If it was only this, then it could have been pardonable. But what they are doing is they are doing a genocide in that area. Very recently, American Secretary of State Antony Blinken has gone on record saying that Chinese are engaging genocidal practices to eliminate these Uyghur people. There are 2.5 million Uyghur people there, about 25 lakh of them, out of which 10 lakh people are actually put in concentration camps. And this is a known fact. So, United Nations questioned China on this. So, China replied, this is not a concentration camp. You can see the photographs of concentration camps in my video. This is, according to them, are the reorientation camps. We are reorienting them to our Communist Party ideologies. It actually means the same. It is nothing but a concentration camp. They are continually being suppressed in their religious freedom, in their freedom of expression, in their right to live itself is actually under tension, under oppression from China. Not only this, China has imported lots and lots of Han Chinese. Han is the main race in China, and the Han Chinese are being brought in to marry the women of the Uyghur stock. So, what it means that they are actually going to finish the Uyghur as a race, and they will all turn into Han Chinese. But China is a very intelligent country. They are actually a trader mentality people. So, they are not only putting these people in concentration camps, they are also using them as forced labor into many areas. One of the lesser known facts about Xinjiang is Xinjiang produces cotton, a lot of cotton. Actually, 20% of the world's cotton is manufactured, is produced in Xinjiang. No, not many people knew. We all know India is a cotton producing country, Egypt is a cotton producing country, but Xinjiang produces 20% of the cotton. All this cotton has to be picked manually. So, the manual cotton picking labor is actually forced labor used from the Uyghur stock, which are male, female, both are used, and they are actually working at subsistence level. I think their daily wages are 15 to 50 cents a day. This is the kind of labor they do, and they are under tension all the time. So, now what United States Senate has passed and European Union has already seconded that modification, that any Chinese items which are manufactured using the forced labor from Xinjiang is banned in our country. Now, who is being manufactured by forced labor and all? What is being manufactured? There is a institute in Australia called ASPI, Australian Strategic Policy Institute. They have done huge research and they have come out with 82 brands which actually use forced labor from Xinjiang. These brands contain the who's who of all the things. For example, in automobiles, it is Mercedes, BMW, Jaguar also to some extent. In clothing, it is polo shirts, it is Lacoste t-shirts, it is Adidas in shoes as well as in clothing. It is in electronics, it is Asus computer, it is Lenovo computer, it is Nokia phones also and Xiaomi phones. So, you name it, all the major brand, the Zara brand, the perfume brand, they are all being manufactured in China at a very cheap rate thanks to the forced labor out of Xinjiang. Now, all of these are under scanner by the Americans and the Europeans, and they are going to be stopped for importing. China is feeling the pinch very heavily on this. There is another point here I want to make, that many of these items are being manufactured in India under license. For sure, if China is being forbidden from exporting these things, the demand for these things are still there in the West, so they can be manufactured and our exports will increase to the West because of this move. So, this is a very positive move from the Indian business perspective. At the same time, if China is put under this kind of pressures, possibly Chinese behavior will change, because China only understands the language of force. The language of kind of collusion, the language of cooperation is treated as weakness of by China. We experienced that in 1962 when Pandit Nehru's peace initiatives were taken in as weakness and 62 war was forced upon us. The current government does not believe in this. Current government believes in, as Prime Minister Modi says, ki we will talk with eyes matching to the person, not eyes down, not eyes up, not head down, not head up, but head face to face. So, this is India's stance. That stance and this sanctions on China are going to make us use this force to make China behave. Let us hope it happens the way General Rawat had predicted, General Rawat had directed us. Let us hope that in his memoriam we carry this practice. Thank you for watching.